Welcome to episode 140 of Rebirth Revolution. My name is Melissa Olson. Okay, let's all take a deep breath. Days after I recorded last week's podcast, it hit the fan, and we see where the regressives are trying to drag us. Unfortunately, they are in the positions of power to make their dark dreams come true. We knew that the overturning of Roe v. Wade was in the pipeline, but it was still a gut punch when it happened. This country was founded on the belief that people should be free to exercise any religion, or no religion at all, as they saw fit. This is clearly not where we are right now. This is the fundamentalist branch of a religion that has hijacked the name of Christ to do their bidding, and they have wormed their way into all levels of the government. I'm not a big fan of organized religion. What is it about organized religion that indoctrinates people with the need to judge and control others simply because their leaders tell them to? Would a person not under the sway of their religious leaders come to these same cruel and punishing conclusions on their own? Their religion effectively separates them from their care, concern, and empathy for others. The part of you that cares about other people is the greatest and most holy part of yourself, but it doesn't serve the agendas of those who seek power and control. They need to give you reasons to abandon your best self. This is why some atheists are at higher levels of spiritual awareness than those who identify as deeply religious. Simply saying you are religious means little to nothing at all. It is how you live your life, the choices you make, the love and mercy you show others that truly matters. And what about the other religions? Not all religions believe that a human life begins at conception, and many do not hold the archaic belief that women do not even factor into who needs protection during pregnancy. Do these religions not have the right to live their truth as well? Those who are rejoicing at the news of this horrible decision are using such simplistic language. They say things like, "Life wins." Simple minds love simple slogans. They are either incapable or unwilling to see all the death and destruction that comes with their simple declaration. They have to be walked through each and every scenario that illuminates why abortion is health care and why it is vital in some circumstances before they can even begin to understand the complexity of the situation. Horrid pictures must be painted for them in hopes that one or more of the scenarios might, for just a moment, help them imagine what that would be like if it happened to them. In reality, it is absolutely none of their business why any woman makes that choice, but they need to take all the steps in between before they can come to that ultimate conclusion. Many people will never understand until it happens to them or to someone they love. But in the time it takes for them to educate themselves and get in touch with even a sliver of compassion, so much death and damage will be done. This is a terrifying time to be a woman. Women are the heart and soul of this world, yet they continue to be endangered by men, the men that they have loved and supported, the men that they have brought into this world, the men who were supposed to have their backs. I have to wonder when exactly these men are planning to step up for the women in their lives. Do they remain silent and allow women to be treated this way because it is not something that is happening to them? Do people not care what women go through because women have been taught that their struggles, especially in the realm of pregnancy and childbirth, should be kept to themselves. It's like how women are told to not reveal that they are pregnant before 12 weeks because it might not work out. This is designed to make women carry the emotional weight of the most dangerous time of their lives and not bother anyone else with their struggles and grief. Is that why so many people have no concept of anything having to do with pregnancy and childbirth? Many of the views I have read demonstrate a complete lack of knowledge of how women's bodies work and how the whole process of making another human being happens. Our silence has led to their ignorance and lack of compassion. People not understanding all the ways in which a pregnancy can go sideways and how abortion is necessary in many situations to preserve the life of the mother is what leads to this simplistic, destructive thinking. The fact that essential health care for women has now been criminalized is truly unthinkable. What other life-saving medical procedures have ever been outlawed? And when will there be any repercussions for men who ejaculate irresponsibly? The punishment for an unwanted, unintended pregnancy, it's entirely on the woman. There are no laws that punish men for impregnating women, barely even in the case of rape. Did you know that the chance of a rapist actually going to jail for raping a woman is less than 1%? There are no laws that regulate men's bodies whatsoever. Wouldn't it be fair if men were forced to be sterilized if they've caused more than one unwanted pregnancy? Why must the woman carry all the legal burden, not to mention the risk to her health and the diminishing of her engagement in the world at large? Now that abortions are felonies in multiple states, this is also a way to make sure that women can't even vote. It's all too infuriating. And where are the laws that make child support begin at conception? If a zygote is a full person, does it carry with it full rights? This is so poorly thought out and so lacking in logic and reason. Let's get honest. This is all about controlling and marginalizing women. This is nothing less than stripping us of bodily autonomy and control over our lives and futures. They see how powerful women are, and that makes them feel the need to slap us down and put us back in our place. There is no getting around the fact that everything is political. Everything. These are not simply culture wars. These are differences that have real and lasting impact on real people's lives. These attacks by the Supreme Court demonstrate that all the issues are intertwined, and that is why we find ourselves in this position. Every bad system and thought pattern that we are trying to dismantle is tied up in this decision. White supremacy, racism, voter suppression, the patriarchy, and misogyny. They are all rolled up in an act that is designed to produce more white babies against the will of the women who will be forced to have them. Our lives are being put on the line to try to maintain white power. And if we die in the process, well, that doesn't matter, because in these systems, women don't matter. In living through the previous administration, we were given a front seat look at all the attributes of those at the lowest levels of spiritual awareness. We witnessed daily the dishonesty, the lack of integrity, the lack of empathy, the lack of accountability, and the naked grabs for power and money. We saw someone fueled by revenge and hatred for anyone unlike himself. Well, a former law clerk of Clarence Thomas's reported that Thomas said that the liberals had made his life miserable for 43 years, so he planned to be on the Supreme Court for 43 years and would spend that time making the lives of liberals miserable. This is all about revenge. This is a man who was so upset about being held accountable for his alleged sexual harassment and misconduct prior to being nominated to the Supreme Court that he was plotting revenge on those who had the audacity to question him about his actions. Welcome to a front row seat to more behavior of those at the lowest levels of spiritual awareness. They are now destroying the separation between church and state, and they feel like they are morally superior in doing so. They are not. They are still in the lower levels of awareness, where instead of examining their own choices, they think that controlling everybody else's choices, that's the ticket. The higher ground is to understand that in this life, everyone is struggling. Everyone has challenges that they are trying to meet, and that they are deserving of love and compassion. The higher ground is understanding that everyone needs to live the life of their own design and make their own choices. They also will deal with the outcomes of those choices themselves, without those who believe they are morally superior judging and punishing them. The higher ground is to find the most humane way possible for all involved. But they are not there yet. That is why they should not have any power over the rest of us. We must take the power away from those who are unwilling or unable to recognize the humanity in us all. Thanks for returning for another week of Rebirth Revolution. Please keep your head up and your chin out as we continue to face new fights while also having to revisit old fights. We came here for this, and we are here because we have something valuable to add to the mix. We have not lost yet, nor will we, because we won't give up. We will do what is right and raise this planet to a higher level. That's our job. Rebirth Revolution can be found on all the podcast apps, the music apps, on Audible, and full episodes can be found on our YouTube and Facebook pages. Please rate, subscribe, download, and share whenever possible. Until next week, don't let one story distract you from other big stories. Continue to push for accountability and justice. Stick with your COVID precautions. And remember that you are an important piece of this puzzle. You are loved exactly as much as every other person on the planet, not 1 ounce more or 1 ounce less. Stay strong and safe and continue to march forward.